Ray Anthony was born to play the trumpet. He was to become one of big band music's most ardent ambassadors, with an impressive career lasting over 60 years as trumpet player, band leader, actor, and big band record label owner. Making music and entertaining audiences have been a part of Ray's life since he was a child. Born Raymond Antonini in 1922, he began playing trumpet at the age of 5 with the Antonini Family Orchestra, an ensemble that was led by his father and included his brothers and sister.
My brother played the drums, my other brother played the saxophone, and he was with my band up till just recently. That's Leo. And my sister played the accordion, and my dad played what would be the bass, trombone. And so we had a unique outfit.
The family moved from Pennsylvania to Cleveland, Ohio, and it was there that Ray began to make a name for himself. He performed regularly with the family orchestra, developing the style and musicianship that would soon attract the attention of other band leaders.
I was kind of the leader of the group in a sense. I guess I was a more outstanding player, and I played the trumpet, of course, which was the lead instrument. And when we got to the point where I was good enough to be able to play with other bands, which I did around Cleveland, Ohio. Vincent Patty, for instance, had a band that played a lot of college events. I learned a lot from Vince. He taught me a lot in the way of phrasing with a bigger band. From there, I started my own band in high school. We played for school dances, of course, and some college affairs.
Ray was just 17 years old when he landed his first professional job as a trumpet soloist with the band leader Al Donahue.
A lot of it has to do with being at the right place at the right time. I auditioned for Al Donahue's band. Didn't realize how good a trumpet player I was. And the turning point there was when I heard the band rehearse in the afternoon. I said, well, I can do that. I can certainly play as good as these guys are playing. So that gave me all the confidence in the world to take that step. And it was only 3 or 4 months later that Glenn Miller heard about me and asked me to come over and audition.
Ray's musical skill and magnetic presence on a bandstand impressed the legendary bandleader, and in 1940, at the age of 18, Ray was playing first trumpet with the big band era's most influential group, the Glenn Miller Band.
That was really the highlight of my entire career, no matter how many successes I've had with my own band. Being with the Glenn Miller Band was a big turning point for me to be able to play with that group of musicians, top of their game. Tex Beneke, drummer was Mo Pirtle, his name. And Trigger Alpert, who is still alive, by the way. He and Paul Tanner, one of the trombone players, and I are the only 3 that are still alive from that particular band. It was a #1 band. His singers were Marion Hutton and the Modernaires, Ray Eberle, and the story about Glenn Miller, of course, is kind of unique since he fired me and then had to rehire me because of the lack of enthusiasm back in that brass section that I brought to the band.
After leaving the Glenn Miller Band in 1941, Ray played with Jimmy Dorsey until he joined the Navy in 1942, just months after the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor. Like many musicians, Ray was tapped by the Navy to entertain the troops.
Stayed up in around the Great Lakes, Chicago area for about 18 months and so. From then was shipped out to the Pacific. I had my own band, by the way, in the Navy. At first I started out with being with another band. Where we could put a band together was on top of the deck. And so we're rehearsing and performing in front of everybody. I mean, where are they going to go? You know. And I didn't have the greatest musicians in the world at the time either, so I had a cello player playing trombone and, you know, that kind of thing. So it was a real challenge. We spent time in Midway, And I had the good fortune to spend about 9 months at the Royal Hawaiian Hotel in Honolulu. Then, of course, we were so well known, so well liked, and they thought they would give us a great gift. They sent us to Okinawa as soon as they took Okinawa. Well, that was the low point of our career.
A hurricane of unrestrained joy sweeps through every part of a war-sick world, from the rice paddies of China to the streets of every city throughout the Americas.
Shortly after the war ended, Ray made a decision that would affect the American musical landscape for close to 5 decades.
Came back to Cleveland, Ohio, and organized a band with some of the members of my Navy band who were from Cleveland, and turned it into a dance band. And that was the start of a new career, playing dance music with the so-called Ray Anthony Dance Orchestra.
The Ray Anthony Dance Orchestra became a sensation and played to sold-out audiences nationwide.
We have the sax sound from the Glenn Miller Band, the trombone sound from the Tommy Dorsey Band, the trumpet sound from Harry James. So we put the combination together, and that's what made up my band through the years. And we were never known as a jazz band per se. We were a dance band. We were voted the #1 dance band, and we're the #1 band from 1950 to 1955.
But success came at a cost. In order to maintain their position as America's leading big band, Ray and his orchestra toured constantly for a number of years.
You had to travel in order to keep a band alive. You had to pay the musicians every week, so you had to travel. You had to take some dates you didn't want to take. You had to go further on some one-nighters that you didn't want to do, but that's the way it was. Of course, New York was the center of things for big bands at the time, so I spent a lot of time in New York. And there were many, many hotels and that played bands, theaters, the Paramount Theater, Capitol Theater, and so forth. There were many jazz places. Out here, it was more laid back. They had the Palomar Ballroom, they had the Palladium, and some jazz clubs, but not nearly what went on in New York City.
Recognizing the tremendous popular draw of the Ray Anthony sound, Capitol Records signed him to a contract in 1949.
We were recording a lot. We did about 3 albums a year, many singles, the House Party Hop being one of them. We have come up with some great ideas through those years, the Anthony Choir, the concert album. As I said, we stayed with Capitol for 19 years. That's a long stay. At the same time, they had Nat Cole, they had Kay Starr, Peggy Lee, Stan Kenton. Those were the other artists on Capitol Records at the time.
Ray's association with Capitol proved to be extremely profitable. He started a new dance craze when he wrote and recorded the Bunny Hop, and his records soared up the charts with the themes for Peter Gunn and Dragnet.